Hi folks, Brian Conroy here. I just wanted to do a little intro for the following video. In 2001, I put together a dining table out of Oregon Black Walnut that I got from a friend that I stored for a long time. And so I went through the steps on how I built it. I got a lot of tips from Black Tail Studios. I think we all learned a lot from them. So, but at any rate, I've learned a lot since then. That's been a couple of years. Since then, I've kind of put together this little garage shop, and I also wanted to work on some dining chairs. If you look up dining chairs YouTube, you know, Four Eyes Furniture comes up, and I thought it was a beautiful design. It's a mid-century modern chair. I built this. It's out of ordinary black walnut. Turned out nice. I'm real happy with it. So I need another 5. So I've been building the other 5. I've got all the components, got to put them together, and I've got I'm sure I'll have a little video of that, just how I did that. But at any rate, I just hope you enjoy the video, and I got my state-sponsored Festool shirt on here, and here we go. Hello, Brian Conroy here, jack of many trades, master of none. I just wanted to explain a project I'm working on right now. These are some glued up pieces of a very nice black walnut tree that I got from a friend back in 1991, something like that. He lived in Vancouver, Washington, and he had a black walnut tree growing right next to the garage, and for some reason it was in a nuisance spot, and so they had to take the tree down. And so he said I could have the 8-foot long trunk of the tree if I could come and get it. And I worked at a berry packing plant, and we had flatbed trucks and winches. So I grabbed the electric 1-ton winch off the ceiling, hooked it to the bed of the truck, plugged it into their house, blew their fuse about 10 times, and pulled that trunk up on the truck on some barrel rollers. And then I took it over to Yoder Mill, and I guess Yoder, I don't know, it's out of Malala or somewhere. Old man Yoder sliced it up for me. He asked me what size. I said, I don't know, a couple inches thick would be nice. So he did that, and then I let him air dry for a few years, and then I want to say maybe 5 or 6 years, maybe 7, 8 years. And I took it over to Creative Woodworking in Southeast Portland. And I said, hey, can you just cut this up into pieces that I can use? And he was really reluctant. I mean, they were happy to do it, but a lot of the long lengths that I had were 7 foot long, but they were twisted badly enough that they couldn't be milled into a straight board that would have ended up about a 1/4 inch thick, or that's exaggerating perhaps. But anyway, so they did have to cut some. And then I ended up with a lot of boards. You can see actually this is comprised of 16 different boards actually that were about 1.7 inches thick. And so anyway, this is 30 years later from the time I picked that log up. So probably about 23 to 25 years after I had it over at Creative Woodworking. I joined the guild here in Portland, and in the Oregon Woodworkers Guild, which is a great place. There's another story, but they have the equipment that I need because I just have a garage of amateur equipment. I like to build, or I'm in the fence business, so I've built some fence and some decks, and so I can handle outdoor stuff that doesn't have to be like furniture. It doesn't have to be precise. But at any rate, they had all the tools I need, have all the tools I need at the Woodworkers Guild in Multnomah Village in Portland. And so I use Festool dominoes, which are real common in the industry now, I guess, to join these boards end to end. And so I had to come up with a pattern that was somewhat random, but still also a pattern so I could have some symmetry to the table I'm making. The goal for my table here is to be 7 foot long and 4 foot wide. And
I have plenty width and length to get that out of it once it's trimmed down. But anyway, you can see, so I've just finished gluing these up together. This left board is three boards. And then I have 3 boards. These are about 7 inches wide, these 3 middle pieces. And then this was comprised of 3 boards, and this was comprised of three boards. Actually, this one's 4 boards, the one in the middle. I had to do a little creative work to make this 7 foot long. Originally it was going to be 6 foot long, and I just wasn't satisfied with that. I wanted a longer table because it was going to be plenty wide, and I wanted it not to look too squat, so I wanted it 7 foot long. So added little pieces to the end of each. But I think looking at the pattern that the grain will flow pretty nicely from one piece to the other. I considered that when putting these together. And I really think once this is all together and it's planed and sanded, it's going to be a pretty nice look. There's just some gorgeous figuring to this wood. And you can see that. You can get an idea of what it might look like. I just think it's going to be gorgeous. There's so many colors in this black walnut. There's blondes and browns and some reds and red browns and even there were a tiny bit of green in it. It's just, and the figuring was just beautiful. So I know, the thing to do, of course, a lot of people is to get a big slab and make a big slab table, but I just wanted to use this wood so bad. And I wanted to be somewhere I'd look at it every day. So I didn't want to make it shelves where I was going to put something on it and then not see it. I really just want to see this wood because it's so beautiful, the figuring on it. So anyway, so this Thursday's my day off. So on Thursday, I'm going to take it over to the guild. And then I'll use Festool dominoes. And you all know what those are. Those are these pieces like this. And so these are 50 millimeters long and 10 millimeters thick. And the Festool obviously just cuts a wonderful mortise into the side of the board, and then you glue these in. And it's fantastic for registration more than strength. I don't really know that it adds much of any strength to the boards, but it sure helps you register it so that you're not going to be unhappy with the way you got things glued up. I have a little bit of a challenge in as much as this board has some warp to it, and it was the result of this one end board, and I had to include this end board in order to get a 7 foot table. And I've got to put all these boards on the joiner to straighten those edges before I glue them up. But I'm hoping that this warp won't be too big a problem once I glue them up, because the whole table is, once it's glued up, is going to go through the planer sander that they have over at Creative Woodworking, which you've seen from so many other videos and local woodworkers that use that Creative Woodworking. They have a very, very wide sander planer. It's a combination. And so I'm not as concerned about the bottom of this table if it has to be somewhat uneven to maintain the thickness. I don't want to end up with a 1 inch thick table. It's about 1.6 inches thick. And it's a good thickness. Hopefully I don't have to lose much, and I can get an 1.5 inch table out of it. So anyway, I'll get this done on Thursday, and then I'll finish this video with what it looks like, and then and what it'll look like after it gets sanded over it and planed over it, Creative Woodworking, and then I'm going to put a finish on it. And I watch a lot of videos on YouTube, and kudos to one of my favorite for sure is Blacktail Studios, where he just does some gorgeous work, and you can learn so much from his videos. And he's using some different finishes, and one of them is Rubio. And anyway, so I've got to find that one, because that sounds like a great one. I really want this table to really pop, but I want a real nice finish on it. So anyway, we'll get back with you once I get it milled up. Once I get it glued up.